Okay, hello everybody. I hope that you're doing okay at home. Caught me a little off guard there, but I think we're all ready to get started. I'm just going to start Instagram Live up too so that we can have some friends join us that way. Today we're going to continue Human Body Week. It's going to be very fun. Okay, we are checking our connection here. And we're almost all ready. So if you're tuning in, make sure you say hi in the comments. Hello to my friend the Oldhams. We've got a fun human body day for us. And I see my light is kind of making a glare on this, but if you're tuning in on Instagram, please tune in on Facebook if you want to see the illustrations. If you're cool without them, then you can stay right there. So hello to Kira and Lainey. I'm so happy that you're joining me today. And let's get started. What are we doing today? Well, I'm glad you asked. Today, we're going to be reading a book called Enjoy Your Cells. And if you remember, back on Monday, we talked about cells being the building blocks of our body. So, we're going to talk about cells and then we're going to reprise one of my favorite books, Inside Your Outside, which is a Dr. Seuss book. At the same time, you might be able to see on Facebook, I cut out some fun organs that we're going to try to place on myself as we read our book. So let's try it out. Oh, looks like my sister just joined. Hey, Carly. She's on Instagram because she's cool like that. So here we go. And as usual, let me know in the comments if you have any questions, you want me to go slower, you want me to show you a picture a little bit longer. But on Facebook, you can hit the pause button. It looks like this. It's two lines right next to each other if you would like to see something a little bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to turn our window capture on. Oh, but it's capturing the wrong window. So we're going to switch that up. There we go. And let's just adjust that. Perfect. Okay, looks like some more people are joining us. I am going to have to minimize this one screen, so if I don't respond to your comments right away, that is why. And let's see if I can make this just a tad bit smaller. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so like I said, we're continuing Human Body Week today, and we're going to start with a book called Enjoy Your Cells. And the front cover of the book, when I first looked at it, I thought it was vegetables, but they're actually all different parts of a human cell. We're not going to read this entire book. We're just going to look at the excerpts. That means just little bits and pieces that are relevant to us specifically. So let's get started. Enjoy Your Cells by Fran, Balkwill, and Mick Rolfe. And the first cell says, "Hi, you guys." Just beneath your skin, there is an amazing hidden world, a world of living cells that work together to make you. Wow. And the way that they portray these cells are very, very colorful. I like that. Different books that you look at, they all might look a little bit different based on how the illustrator decided to portray them. Cells are microscopic building blocks. Millions and millions of cells come together to build your blood and brain and bones and muscles and skin. They grow your hair, your teeth, your nails. Cells form your liver, your lungs, heart and kidneys, and all the other bits inside. I keep you healthy. We create your bones. Even I was made of cells, says the skeleton. But what about other living things? Are they made of cells as well? Well, from plants to pelicans, bacteria to bats, starfish to spiders, toadstools to tuna, everything that is alive is made of cells. Even long gone dinosaurs were made of cells. So that means that dinosaurs are made of cells and we're made of cells. Does that mean we're dinosaurs? No. The cells have to be arranged in a certain way to be a dinosaur. And we aren't. But we do have that in common. Your cells and my cells are very tiny. You cannot see them with the naked eye. You need a microscope. Wow, it looks like Kira Laney's dad made a cell out of jello and different foods for grade school. You know what? Now that you say that, I think I did that too. I think I used Play-Doh. I remember using Good and Plenty's. That's a really cool project. That's awesome. Thanks for reminding me. So check this out. If you cut a very thin slice through a human cell that's been magnified in a magnifying glass 10,000 times by a powerful electron microscope, you can see that cells are actually quite complicated. So we make a bunch of cells out of jello and candy, but it's much more complex than we could really model. So I'm not going to read every part of this, but I am just going to show you the main parts. The nucleus is the powerhouse of the cell. Think of that as the brain. Then, look at this. The author labeled some of these things as little blobby bits. So that's kind of funny. So let's see. These strange looking bits inside of the cells do all kinds of clever jobs, like turning food into energy and making important chemicals called proteins. Not the kind of teens at home on screens. That's a teenager. These are proteins. This means that the cells can work together to make you eat, sleep, think, and talk. They make you breathe, sing, run, and walk. And this is an amoeba that was magnified 3,000 times. And this author has a funny sense of humor. It says, "I'll never make president." That's kind of silly. And then something on the next page says, "You never know." So let's see if there's anything else that I want to share. Oh, yes. On the outside, there's a membrane, and that's kind of like a soap bubble. The membrane is a little bit like our skin on the outside. And the membrane encloses jelly-like cytoplasm. Can you say that? Cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is where all of the blob-like tubes and all the parts of the cell sit inside of that jello. So that's why Kieran Laney's dad used jello. Not all cells are the same size though. Most of the cells in your body are about 1/1000th of an inch wide. It would take 25 to cover the surface of a tiny grain of sand. Whoa. The smallest type of cell is called a bacterium, and like amoeba, it usually lives on its own. A bacterium is about 1/10,000th of an inch long. You could fit 2,500 bacteria on a grain of sand. So here's another way to understand cells. Look at your thumb. Okay, here's your thumb. If each of the cells were half an inch wide, your thumb would be as long as a baseball diamond or as tall as a 9-story building. Wait a second, let me read that one more time to fully understand. Look at your thumb. If each of your cells were half an inch wide, which is about like this, then your thumb would be as big as a baseball diamond or as tall as a 9-story building. Whoa! And, David, I'm not sure if cyto, the beginning of cyto means cell, but I'm guessing that there is some commonality between the roots in Latin, if I had to guess. We've already told you that cells work together to build living things. So how many human cells does it take to build your body? And there's a lot of guesses here. She says, 100? A million? 100 million? No! You are made of 100 million tiny cells. I've never seen it written million. Normally I go hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions. So that would be 100 trillion tiny cells. Thank you, cells. Thank you, cells, all over my body for helping me be the scientist. But what about everything else? Do elephants and giant redwood trees have big cells? No, they just have more cells. But there is a really mysterious one-celled organism that lives under the water, and its one cell is about 8 inches long. I don't know the details on this, but I will drop the name of it in the comments after the video is over because it is the most mind-blowing thing. So even dinosaur cells are the same size as yours. The biggest dinosaur ever known was probably made of about 1,000 million cells, or 1,000 trillion cells. And we said that we're made of 100 trillion cells. So we're going to skip over this part. You can ask your grown-ups about that. And we are going to move on to something called DNA. DNA is something really special in your body that makes you, you. It's kind of like a twisted ladder. And that twisted ladder holds instructions on how to make your body. So in the book it says, and you still keep on growing by making more cells. You become taller, wider, fitter, stronger, and you're still growing right now. How do your cells know when to grow and when to make more cells? Well, that's where DNA comes in. Now listen to what DNA stands for. It's such a tongue twister. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Wait, I had to look at it again. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Can you say that? Deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is much easier to say, and it's the secret chemical code that was in the chromosomes of the first cell that was you. So those instructions have been there from the very beginning, back when you were in your mom's tummy. So let's take a look. This is kind of what it looks like, a spiral staircase. And that DNA tells your body what color eyes you should have, what your teeth should look like, what color hair you should have, what color skin you're going to have. All of every detail that we love about ourselves is in DNA. But that brings up an interesting point. Is my friendliness and funniness in my DNA? Those are personality traits. And personality traits are acquired through what we call nurture, or we get them from how we grow up. So if our parents are funny, then maybe we'll be funny. My dad is really silly, so I think I got some of that from him. Yeah, Kira, DNA is really hard to say. That's why we came up just with the initials of it. So DNA is a code for making those proteins, and they contain 30,000 different recipes because there's a different recipe for each part of your body. So there could be thousands of lines just for your eyes, for your nose, for your mouth. So let's see here. So you can also consider DNA as a storage unit, and currently scientific research is trying to store information like a thumb drive in people's DNA, which is really interesting, and then you'll never lose your homework again. So we're just going to go through some of the different kinds of cells, then we're going to move on to our Dr. Seuss book because I know that this is a little complex. But some of my favorite kinds of cells are pigment cells. Pigment cells give your skin color. All of us have the same number of pigment cells in our skin. From pale yellow to black, the color of your skin depends on how much melanin in your pigment cells. So melanin is something that when you go out in the sun and you get tan, those cells break open and the melanin gets darker. That's why we tan. But some people just have naturally darker skin. That means they have more melanin. Hair cells are made of a really tough protein called keratin. And keratin can sometimes be found in shampoos to help us strengthen it even more. And that's what your hair is. It's pure keratin. Now, the gland cells in your skin make special oils. These oils stop your hair from becoming too brittle and keep your skin nice and soft. Now, we tend to think of kids as having the smoothest, nicest skin, and that's because these gland cells are brand new. So, babies' bottoms, very, very smooth. Those gland cells are right out of the oven. We also have nerve cells. I think nerve cells are my favorite of all because they look kind of like a little tree of broccoli. So nerve cells are in your brain and they carry electrical messages. That's true, electrical, just like the electric run in your house. They monitor the world inside and outside your body, sending messages back to your brain. Nerve cells are the longest cells in your body. They can get 1/1000th of an inch wide, but they can be up to 3 feet long. What? I didn't know that. Now, the little branches on a nerve cell or a neurotransmitter are called dendrites. Those dendrites, when we have new ideas that we learn, they stick together. That's why the more we use a concept and learn about a concept and think about it and talk about it, the stickier it becomes and the easier it'll be to stay in your brain. But if you learned French in high school like I did and then never spoke it again, those dendrites are not connected anymore. They say it's easier to learn something the second time, and I have picked up a little bit more French here and there, but that's something that I lost because I didn't practice it enough. And let's see. And one last cell that I'll share is muscle cells. They're stretchy cells, and they can change their size and shape to move almost in any part of your body. And we'll talk more about muscles with Dr. Seuss. Okay, I just want to see if there's anything else that I want to point out here before we go to our cartoons. Wow, so all of these are different kinds of cells. Although you are made of 100 trillion human cells, there are about 1,000 trillion bacteria and yeast cells living in and on your body. And before you go and take a shower, don't worry, because these bacteria and yeast cells help us to fight bad bacteria, bad viruses. So we want to be clean and we take baths when our grown-ups tell us to, but this bacteria is what I like to call healthy bacteria. It's okay to have. Many of your good and helpful bacteria live in your digestive system. They digest the food that you cannot. They also make useful vitamin K, which helps your blood to clot if you cut yourself. That's why your skin will stop bleeding because it gets a little gooey. And all of that bacteria grow and multiply, and they also release gases. So we hope you enjoy your cells. This is my favorite picture of the whole book. I love it. So now that we've got the real picture of cells in our brain, now we're going to move on to our Dr. Seuss book. So I am going to unshare my screen now. There we go. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the human body. We're going to talk a lot about it. This might be a longer show than we normally have, so if you have to go, don't worry. This video is going to be saved and you can watch it again later. So as we go through the human body, I'm going to try to put some of these organs on myself and we'll see how we do. So, Oh no, I didn't see Kira's message about a hair cell. But let me see. I think I can bring it up right now before I dive in to the Dr. Seuss book. So the hair cells, aha, right here. Okay, so let me share again. So the hair cells are actually right next to me, right here. That's what a hair cell looks like. Kind of weird. You would think it would be long and skinny, but it's made of a tough protein. So that's what your hair looks like. Great question, Kira. Thanks for asking. Okay, so here we go with Dr. Seuss. Love Dr. Seuss. Okay, insides or outsides, all about the human body. This is the cover page. It's like a real classroom. I'll be showing the pictures to both Facebook and Instagram. I'm the cat in the hat, here to share some good news. From the tip of your hair to the toes in your shoes, your body is moving. It never stops growing. It never stops going. Right now your heart is beating and your blood is flowing. You may be sitting and reading a book, but your body is busy. Come and take a look. Imagine if each time you walk down a street, you could look right inside of the people you meet. You'd see hearts pumping blood, you'd see brains busy thinking, lungs breathing, bones moving, and eyes blinking. Can anyone wink just with one eye? I can't really do it. I look like Lucille Ball when I do it. Like, I have to move my mouth too. Try it. It's kind of hard. There's one easy way you can see what I mean. Take a ride in my inside your outside machine. Every ticket is free, and before we are through, you will see inside of me and inside of you too. Wow, I wish this inside-outside machine was real, but the closest thing to real life would probably be either an ultrasound or an x-ray. And I did a video with the Franklin Institute about ultrasounds that I will post on my page so that everyone can see inside of my arm. It's kind of cool. Let's start at the top with your brain. It is key. It controls all you do, helps you laugh, learn, and see. It makes your legs move when you run, jump, or walk. It makes your face move when you blink, smile, and talk. It sends information to all parts of you and does millions of things no computer can do. Your brain never stops. It goes all day and night. Your brain has two sides. One is left and one is right. So while I'm showing you this picture, I will give a quick note here, a footnote, is that while it's true that the brain does have two sides, a left side and a right side, it's not true that certain things are only found on one side or another. Also, a common myth in neurology or neuroscience is that you can be left-brained or right-brained, and it's just not that simple at all. So I'm going to skip the part that talks about that because it's not really that true. But I do like the way that they talk about all different things that your brain does. So your brain can help you read, it helps you remember, it helps you play music, and it helps you sing. And together, those sides of the brain help you do everything. So it's not as cleanly divided as a left side and a right side, like the book says, but those neurotransmitters, remember the brain cells that we showed you in the other book, are what are all connecting together to help us learn new information. How big is your brain? This is quite a surprise. Your two fists together are close to its size. So, a human brain is very similar to a sheep brain. In fact, at my old job, we would dissect sheep brains, and boy, do I wish that I had some eyeballs and brains to dissect right now. But we're going to do our best to teach you without those right here. And hopefully, other museums will post their dissections. Meet the Feltons, who live in far-off Fadin, where when they stand in the sun, you can see through their skin. It's easy to see when you look at a Felton all of the bones that are known as a skeleton. Bones shape our bodies and help us stand tall. We've 206. Some are big and some are small. The Felton skeleton family. First on the inside out machine. And the cool thing about our skeletons is that no matter what we look like on the outside, we all have really similar skeletons on the inside. There are some people who maybe have broken a bone or two in the past, or maybe some people with special bone diseases, but for the most part, it all looks the same. One of the first places that I can't wait to go when the world goes back to normal, or our new normal, is the Muter Museum, which is right down, what street is that? I believe that's 22nd Street, close to Walnut. And it's got lots of human body pieces. It's got skulls that you can look at. It's got bones, livers, organs, all kinds of things. I cannot wait to see it again. It's a little dusty though, so make sure you take your allergy medicine before you go. So 206 bones, that's a lot of bones in your body, huh? There are flat bones in your head, flat bones or soft bones in your nose, right here. Curved bones in your ribs. Can you feel those right under your tummy, right here? And short bones in your toes. One bone in your ear, this made us think twice, is so small, it's the size of 1 grain of rice. Bones in your body are stronger than steel, but when a bone breaks, it's still able to heal. And that bone that's as big as a grain of rice, that's in your ear. And that's why you have to be very careful when you go to concerts or other loud places. And it's important to wear those earphones because once our eardrum isn't working, or hears things too loud, then we might have permanent hearing damage, which my parents were major rock stars back in the day, New York City in the 80s, of course. And they both say that today they have something called tinnitus, which is a ringing in your ear, but they said it was worth it. Here's a fact that we both think is neat. A joint is a place where two different bones meet. There are joints in your elbow, wrist, shoulder, and knee. Joints help you bend so you move easily. So here is the bones. And it looks like it's a little art gallery of bones. And you know, I realize I've already forgotten that we have two organs that we can place. So the first one is the brain. The brain looks like this. This is a side view of the brain, and the brain stem goes down your neck to your spine. So I'm going to put it on the side of my head right here. Instagram's probably going to get a better view of my brain, but don't worry because Facebook's going to get a good view of some other organs as well. And I will remember to wash my face when this is all done because, fun fact, I am allergic to formaldehyde, which is found in most tapes. Okay, so I've got my brain. And my favorite bone is called the humerus bone. It's not so humorous. That's how I remember what it's called. And your humerus bone is up here on your arm. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on my arm. So I know that I look like a very serious scientist right now, and that's because I am a very serious scientist. Okay, we got the humerus, we got the brain. Who needs a dissection when you got your own body? So let's check out those joints. Everyone try to move your finger like this. Up and down and up and down. Ooh, look at you getting those finger joints. Now, this joint can move in many directions. My favorite kind of joint is a ball and socket joint, and that's in our arms and in our legs. And it looks like this shoulder joint right here. And this shoulder joint has a ball and a socket. So the ball can move around inside of the socket. There are bones down your back that are all in a line. They help you stand up and are known as the spine. The spine has a spinal cord running inside it, a bundle of nerves. Not nerds, nerves. A bundle of nerves which help move it and guide it. Here's a word that we just learned today. The bones in your spine are called vertebrae. Can you say vertebrae? Vertebrae, vertebrae, vertebrae. That is the plural of, I think vertebra, maybe, is just one of those tiny discs. Nerves are like wires that run inside you. They let your brain know everything to do. So those brain neurotransmitters that we were talking about and those brain cells, some of them travel all the way down our spine to help our body send and receive messages. You have 5 different senses which help your brain tell what you hear, how things taste, what you see, touch, and smell. Sniff a flower and pull sweet smells into your nose. Nerves go to your brain and say, hey, that's a rose. Your sense of touch really tells you a lot. This kitten is soft. This pizza is hot. If you could not see other senses, it's true, like touch, taste, and smell would work harder for you. And this is true. Some people are born without the ability of sight, and they tend to have better hearing, and vice versa. People who are born without good hearing tend to develop really great sight. So you can try this out by trying to listen to a song with your eyes closed. And sometimes when you listen with your eyes closed, it's easier to tell apart the different instruments that are in the song. So try it, see if it works. Maybe it just helps you concentrate. Sound waves travel through the air deep in your ear, shaking your eardrum, and that's how you can hear. Why do you feel dizzy when you have stopped twirling? Inside your ears, there are liquids still swirling. Your poor dizzy brain just has no way of knowing whether you've stopped or if you keep going. And for this, I wanted to show you something that I've been working on. I have said before, but for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I am still recovering from a concussion, pretty bad concussion that happened back in July. And what was affected was my eyes and my balance, or my inner ear. So this is one of the exercises that I do with my physical therapist. And I spilled a little bit of water on it, so it's a little runny. But these list of letters, we basically will put on a metronome, and then my eyeballs, without my finger, have to jump from one letter to the next. So I'd have to do first, first, second, second, third, third, fourth, fourth. So you can look this up if you want to try it yourself. It's called metronome saccades, and it helps my eyes to relearn how to find things. Because when I'm reading a book, sometimes you might notice that I use my finger, and that's because my eyes sometimes forget where I am. Okay, let's move on to taste. Oh, wait a second. Are we going to do sight? Oh, yeah, because I have a lot to say for that. Taste. Let me see your tongue, everybody. Taste buds on your tongue tell your brain when you eat. This pickle is sour. This ice cream is sweet. And there are 5 different categories of taste. This one only lists 4, but I'm here to tell you that there's an extra one. We've got bitter, sour, salty, sweet, and the newer, relatively newer one called umami, which would be like mushrooms. So I know we just talked about a lot, but again, there's the inner ear info and taste. Okay, now some of you might know that the eye is my favorite, always has been, even before my injury, because I love to dissect some cow eyeballs. When your eye looks at something, it goes to your brain, and there something happens that's hard to explain. It's not hard for me to explain. The picture your brain sees is flipped upside down. It's up to your brain to flip it back around. Nearsighted folks can see things that are near, but faraway things do not look quite as clear. Farsighted folks can see things that are far, but things that are close, my, how blurry they are. So if you're grown up or you wear glasses, if you can see close up, that means you are nearsighted. And if you can only see things far away, you are farsighted. I wear contact lenses and I am nearsighted, so I cannot see things that are far away from me. So I haven't really had to wear my contacts while I've been in quarantine because everyone on my screens has been pretty close to me. Sometimes I'll wear my blue light glasses or the blue filter glasses, which help a little bit. So everybody, I want to show you another activity that I do to strengthen my eye. And I'm going to do it for each Instagram and Facebook because I have to get pretty close to the camera. So I do physical therapy over the computer. So my doctor goes on the computer and then I look into the camera and I'm going to try to keep my eyes glued on the camera. I'll move this a little bit so that Instagram can see too. So I look at the camera and then I shake my head back and forth. So if you want to try this out, pick a point, maybe on my whiteboard or my background. Keep your eyes glued to that one spot and then just move your head. Try to keep your eyes still. Now, my eyes sometimes start fluttering. That means that they don't keep track very well. But this is another activity that you can do to strengthen your eyes. Okay, we've got a lot of organs still. And since we can see our eyes and our tongue, I didn't have a paper organ for that. So the different parts of your eyeball, we've got the cornea. The cornea is the clear part on the outside of your eye. That's what protects your eye. On the inside of your eye, it actually is a lot like jelly. For real. There's jelly and then there's water in it, and that helps it to keep its basketball spherical shape. Then we've got the pupil. Everybody open your eyes wide, look at your friend or look in a mirror. And our experiment today is going to be with our own eyeballs. So let's see if we can do this. I'm going to shut my eyes. I'm going to block the light from it by covering my eyes. So if you're writing a comment, I cannot see it. And the pupil controls how much light gets let in to your eyeball. So the black part in your eye will either get bigger if it's low light or get smaller if it's a lot of light. So right now that my eyes are closed, my pupils are getting really big. And on the count of 3, I'm going to open them and I want you to see if you can see my pupils grow. And hopefully I am in the frame. Okay, here we go. 3, 2. Okay, tell me if that worked. I don't know if you could see it. I'll try it here on Instagram too. Get a little closer. So shutting my eyes, and my sister and I did this in the days before the internet. I'm not sure if this will work because there is a light right on top of the Instagram camera. But you can see the black part in your eye getting smaller. Oh, it worked. Cool. So you can try this out with your friends, but remember, never put a light directly in your eye. It will hurt and it could damage your eyes. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, so we finished this page. I'll show you one more time. There we go. When you move, muscles pull on your bones and help you to turn your head, raise your hand, take a bite, and then chew. Some muscles are joined to each other or skin. They help you wiggle your ears. I can't wiggle my ears, but my mom can. Raise your eyebrows. Can anyone raise one eyebrow at a time? I can, but only this one. And grin. Here's a fact about muscles we've known for a while. You use more muscles when you frown when you do when you smile. Ooh, okay, I have a fun fact coming in from our #1 fan. Fun fact, pirates are believed to have worn eye patches to see well below deck by keeping an eye in the dark while above deck. That makes a lot of sense. So you can get one eye pretty used to the dark while the other eye is used to the light. Now, typically, I'm going to guess that this probably gave sailors kind of bad vision when they used both eyes because your eyes work in tandem. So when one pupil does one thing, usually the other pupil wants to do the same thing. I actually have a special condition called 80s tonic pupil, which means one of my pupils will get really big and the other one will get really small. That's probably what those pirates look like, and they probably force themselves into that condition, if I had to guess. Oh, okay, we've got another organ. Next, we're going to add the heart. Now, this is not drawn to size. This should be a little smaller. This is about the right size. And this one should be a little bit bigger. So, you have 600 muscles, and here is the best part. The biggest of all is your very own heart. The sound that your chest makes is thump, thump, thump. That's not true. It makes more of a lub-dub, lub-dub. That's the sound of your blood being moved by a pump. The pump is your heart. Blood flows through it, and then the heart muscle squeezes the blood out again. And your heart is on the left side of your body. That's why when we say the Pledge of Allegiance, we use our right hand over our left side. And it's right about here. Okay. Let's see, I get a little farther away so you can see all my bones and my organs. So we got our heart going. Blood circles your body in less than a minute. Can you believe that? Each drop has millions of blood cells within it. Hey, we know what a cell is. A cell are those little tiny building blocks that make up our body. And this is a picture of the heart. Now, one question that I have had for a long time is, where did this shape of a heart, why did this get popular? I'm not really exactly sure because our real heart doesn't look anything like that, but on Valentine's Day cards, you see something like this. Now, your heart and all of your organs work together, and I think, let's see, are we going to do, yes. Okay, we'll get to it. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Blood cells are two colors. There are red cells and white. If a germ makes you sick, that germ's in for a fight. A white blood cell gets ready the minute it meets it. It wraps up that germ, then the white blood cell eats it. Red cells give blood color. Look closely, you'll see. They look like donuts without holes to me. And again, you can't see this without a microscope, but I think they're talking about in the book. You can kind of see. Okay, now we've got another one. We've got our lungs. And our lungs work with our heart to give our blood oxygen. And I think I actually did the lungs kind of relatively the right size. So the heart actually has a tube that connects to the lungs. Lungs help you breathe and they never can rest. They're like two balloons in each side of your chest. Inhale means breathing breath in, so let's inhale through our nose and exhale through your mouth. Exhale means to let air out. Every 4 seconds you breathe in and out, lungs bring in air, which you can't live without. And, like we said, they add oxygen to our blood. Another popular science myth is that your blood is actually blue until oxygen hits it. And that's just not true. The reason why your veins look blue is because the light that's hitting your skin gets bounced back off. And how deep our blood veins are, it rejects certain colors of wavelength, and blue is what it puts back out. So it's a little confusing, but it has more to do with light than it does anything else. Your blood is always red no matter what stage of the cycle that it's in. Each time that you eat, the first thing that you do is put food in your mouth, and that's when you chew. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to move my lungs up because they really are much higher. And I need to make room for some more organs. Oh boy, I'm going to be a very full person. Here we go. The first thing that you do is put food in your mouth, and that's when you chew. Food goes into your stomach where juices are flowing, turns into a paste, then the paste keeps on going. A tube, the intestine, is what food moves through. This food feeds your blood, which then feeds all of you. Food takes time to travel. Thing one, and I know, in our stomachs there's food that we ate 3 days ago. That might be true. Some grown-ups and kids might know what I'm talking about, but sometimes I eat a food that does not agree with me and it comes right out. Okay, so let's get our stomach. Now, the interesting thing about the stomach is that it's actually much higher than we think. So I'm going to stand up now because we need kind of a fuller vision of everything. So our stomach, we think of it as being where our belly button is, but our stomach is actually much higher up. It's actually right about here. So this is where I'm going to tape my stomach. And keep in mind, I am not connecting the organs. I do not have a medical degree, and I am doing this solely for your visualization purposes. But I did put some recommended books all about the human body in the Facebook Live description. So, your stomach is pretty high up. We're going to put it right about here. And then your liver comes into play. And I actually have a little window here to remind myself what each of the organs does, because there's a lot of them. So the liver is on the right side of the abdominal cavity, and the main function is to process the contents of the blood. So if grown-ups have any kind of grown-up drinks, it goes through the liver. Oops. Okay. So let's get a little bit of tape on the liver. And as my sister says, you can't liver without your liver. Your liver helps to take some of the toxic things out of your food. And this is on the right side, right below the diaphragm. So we'll put it like right here. Okay, we got the liver, we got the stomach, and we also need to add the kidney, which we have 2 of. So there's our kidney. And the kidneys are 2 bean-shaped organs that are located at the back of the abdominal cavity, one on each side of the spinal column. So it would make most sense back here. So let's see if I can get it on my back. And you can live with only one kidney. And so sometimes if your relatives are sick, they might ask you for a kidney. And that's like the biggest thing that you could give to a family member. So let's see. Let me get there we go. So we got our kidney, we got the stomach, and then the last one that I cut out is the pancreas, which is really, really tiny, but pretty important. So let's see here. The pancreas is not on this, so let's double check so I don't lie to you. That's why I love the internet. The pancreas is located also in the abdomen, and it plays an essential role in converting the food that we eat into fuel for our body's cells. So the pancreas is going to be, let's see, it looks like it's right next to the liver. Oh, uh-oh. Speaking of liver, I just lost my liver. Whoa. Live TV, isn't it a joy? Okay, here we go. We got the liver back, and now we're gonna get the kidneys up. Okay, so the liver and the kidneys are actually connected, and it kind of looks like a worm, and it goes a little bit like this. So we had it over here. Okay, so what do you think? This isn't even all of the organs, and I'm already really filled with organs and lots of things in my body, and we're not even through the book yet. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, let's see what else we have. Gotta make some adjustments there. Okay. And I don't think I showed you this picture yet. So you can see the liver, then the small intestines, and the large intestines. They're really, really long. I forget how long, but like many feet long. You can like spread it out in your house. I think it might even be longer than a mile. When you drink, liquid enters your blood and then goes all over your body, wherever the blood flows. Blood is cleaned by your kidneys. They work with great speed to clean out waste and water that you do not need. Wastewater is stored in your bladder, and then it soon flows back out of your body again. How does the liquid get out of your bladder? That's right, it goes into the toilet. That's our pee. And our pee is the liquid waste that our body doesn't want. You need food and water. You use quite a bit of it. Is some left over? Your body will get rid of it. We have come to the end of our ride. It is true, but there is a lot we can learn about you. Way deep down inside of your body and mind, there's a lot going on every day, all the time. As you grow, you will know that your bones will get longer, your lungs will get bigger, and your muscles will get stronger. Your brain and your heart will guide all that you do. And someone special is inside your outside. It's you. Wow, that's so special. Oh, and then I love it. It's got further reading and a glossary. So you can take this out from your local library as an ebook with a library card. And wow, this was one of our longer episodes, but there's a lot inside of our body and we didn't even cover half of it. So if you have any questions about the human body, I think we're going to extend our theme into next week a little bit, and then choose a shorter theme for the rest of it. And as you know, we always end our show with the goodbye song. So let's sing that song. And we'll see you again on, what's today? Friday? We'll see you on Monday. But first, if you're on Facebook, thank you so much for joining me. Let me just bring up, I think I lost my Facebook window here. There we go. So if you have any questions about any part of your body, put it in the comments and I will do my best to research it. We could talk about it next week. If you learned anything new today, if you appreciated my stream, if I kept your kids busy, please donate to my PayPal or Venmo listed below. It is not expected, but it is appreciated for this laid off educator. So let's sing that goodbye song. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now until we meet again. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now until we meet again. It's been great to play and read together in the hive, but now it's time to say goodbye. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now until we meet again. Bye, everybody. See you on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.